I started salesforce.com in a rented apartment in 1999 with the goal of making enterprise software as easy to use as a website like Amazon.com. That idea, to deliver business applications as a service over the internet, would change the way businesses use sophisticated software applications and, ultimately, change the way the software industry works. In less than a decade, our business has grown from a simple idea to a public company with more than $1 billion in revenue. We have achieved success by approaching business in a new way. The new models we have created for marketing, sales, technology, finance, philanthropy, global expansion, and leadership have been effectively employed by other companies, and we believe that any company can succeed with our strategies. At a time when more entrepreneurs are starting companies faster and cheaper than ever before, the simple, accessible, and unconventional advice offered here will help you stand out, innovate better, and grow faster in any economic climate. The book follows the same easy-to-use and easy-to-implement mantras as our service. Divided into 111 plays, a fitting number as our 111 model is so responsible for our success. It tells you how we developed award-winning breakthrough products, toppled much larger competitors, won customers of all sizes, and reveals how you can do all this too. As we promise customers who implement our service, expect to see immediate results. That's not all, though. I'll show you how to build a business that's not just profitable, but inspiring. Good for your employees, good for your customers, and good for your community. Perhaps, like you, I have always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I grew up watching my father run a chain of women's clothing stores, and my grandfather, an innovative and unusual attorney, run his own practice and create BART, the San Francisco Bay Area Rapid Transit System. My obsession with software began when I wandered into a computer lab in high school. I would beg my grandmother to drive me to the local Radio Shack so I could use the TRS-80 Model 1. Later, I used the income I made at my after-school job, cleaning cases at a jewelry store, to buy my own computer. I wrote my first piece of software, How to Juggle, and sold it for $75. What I really loved was the ways we could use computers to share information. When I was 15 years old, I started my first company, Liberty Software, with some friends. We wrote adventure games for the Atari 800. My grandmother wrote the music for the games, and my parents were supportive of my entrepreneurial endeavors, even permitted me to travel to Europe on my own to research a castle I was going to replicate in a game. The sense of independence that trip initially fostered was quelled when I forgot to phone home and my panicked mother called Scotland Yard. Embarrassing, but true. It was incredible to sell something that I had created from nothing. I took the reviews very seriously. Even back then, I knew that to be successful, I needed to listen to the users. Luckily, the games did well. I was 16 years old and earning royalties of about $1,500 a month. It was enough to buy a car and cover college. I focused my studies at the University of Southern California on building companies and creating new technologies. I ran Liberty Software out of my dorm room. The lessons I learned as an entrepreneur were pivotal, as were those I learned working for somebody else. In 1984, I had a summer job at Apple, writing some of the first native assembly language for the Macintosh. I had the opportunity to work on the most exciting and important project at Apple, and it was like getting paid to go to Disneyland. There were fruit smoothies in the refrigerators, a motorcycle in the lobby, and shiatsu massages. The very best part was being able to witness Steve Jobs walking around, motivating the developers. Steve's leadership created the energy and spirit in the office. Apple encouraged the think different mindset throughout its entire organization. We had a pirate flag on the roof. That summer, I discovered that it was possible for an entrepreneur to encourage revolutionary ideas and foster a distinctive culture.